Oh,
Where's my camera? Oh, there it is. Yeah, so when'd you get back?
uh, what, like August 1st?
Dang, that was early.
We've been getting straight to it.
Man,
And
that's early.
yeah, with the injury, so it's just getting my legs back under me. So it's been one of the tougher pre-seasons for me, but now I'm getting to a point where everything is good.
Oh, nice, because you got injured at the end of the season, something like that.
Yeah, I dislocated my ankle
Oh,
that February, March. I believe that was April.
okay.
Yeah, I dislocated my ankle, and then that was like had to sit out like 2.5 months.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that. I didn't know it was that long.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Everything's back on the up and up, man. Everything feels back good. Got my legs back under me after, normally it takes me 2 weeks, but this time around it took me a month. But yeah, now everything is back to normal.
So when you were back at home for off season, you pretty much healed up, right? You didn't do much, right?
Well, I did stuff to keep my skill set sharp,
Okay.
but wasn't doing the same type of endurance exercises.
Uh,
I was still doing court work, but not
nice.
with so um yeah, I mean, and then I had the initial 2.5 months off, so that's the most time I've my entire career.
Nice, 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 nice. And you got everything settled back at home before you got back? I know you were saying you were dealing with a couple things, so hopefully that's straightened out and you at a good place. And
Yeah, I'm in a good place. I'm in a real good place now. So
nice,
yeah,
nice, nice. So how's it looking so far since you've been there? Like, what's how's the team looking and what do you think?
yeah. The first month is always funny because guys are in and out. Got guys with the national team. Guys, we just got another guy that signed this past week. He just got in like 3 days ago.
Okay.
Uh, and then coming back, some guys deal with whether it's back spasms or little knick-knack injuries. So
Mm.
still haven't had the full team. Tomorrow will be the first practice with the full team.
Oh, nice.
Very excited for that. But yeah, I mean, we have a ton of talent. The team
Nice.
are going to always, have that offensive approach,
Nice.
but trying to focus more on the defensive end of things, so we can make that next step.
Oh, okay. Was the from the defensive end, was that a focal point? Did they make that clear? Was that something that y'all wanted to carry into this season, or like how did that come into play? Because I know that's a part of you guys winning championships is that defensive pedigree, right?
And that's yeah, in the Danish league. The defensive pedigree is important.
Mhm.
Um, Whole another step because we normally do it from a mindset of athleticism,
Mm.
and being able to switch a lot of things.
Okay.
So defense is always pretty solid. But taking that next step and communicating, getting everybody on the same page, and patience and everything is the next step to really having that defensive continuity. Because we always tend to get that offensive continuity. So now, this year to focus a little bit more on defense, and taking another step in international play is the goal now.
Yeah, that's what I was about to get to. Like, especially, the Danish league and being a good defensive team. But once you get to Europe, that's another a couple levels up. So if you can maintain it at the Danish league, not really maintain it, but if you can do well in the Danish league and try to up that ante when the Euro League, when those European games, that'll get you to another deep run. So that's pretty cool. That's the focus now.
Yeah, it's going to be super important. Yeah, to make that happen for Europe, because having a deep run and then looking to win actual European championship is I know one of the team's goals, and that's definitely one of my goals before the Bears here.
So what talking about that winning how close, in your opinion, how close are you guys to actually taking that championship? Because I know it seems like each year y'all get closer and closer. So y'all, it seems like y'all fairly close. Is that because at that point everybody's pretty much even. It's just who makes mistakes and who doesn't do something right, or maybe there's an injury, or you're just not playing well. There's a small factor in wins and losses at that stage. So what do you think, in your opinion, is getting close to that, getting that championship?
Uh, yeah, just one for me is making that again next step with that defensive continuity.
Okay, gotcha.
Because offensively, again, we're really good, and we've done since I've been here. We had a quarterfinals run, and we had a semifinal run that
Nice.
was short by COVID. I think we would have had the finals that year for
Mhm.
sure. And then last year we had another semifinals run, and then we had 1 year in Champions League where we
Uh,
had a solid year in Champions League, but we still want to make that next step and advance to the next round and become a Champions League team year in and year out.
nice,
Uh,
nice,
yeah,
nice.
it's good, and a lot of it, we have the talent level, and we're
Mhm.
a very athletic team. Our team, we have high IQ guys with the core of our team. So naturally we'll be good, but the next step is to be great and
Mhm.
being very focused, doing things the right way. And again, on defenses is where you take that next level up.
Yeah. I think, man, I'm so proud of you guys, you especially, well, all of you guys, because to reach that level we talk about dynasty, to reach that level and to sustain that level of play year in, year out, that's a big deal, man, because it's hard to get on top in any league, right? I don't think it matters if it's Denmark or somewhere in Italy, Spain. Like, once you get to that elite level and staying there is really tough. So the fact that you guys can be there every year, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and the team here has really, advanced, moved forward on a lot of levels. From marketing in the office to, getting higher level players to, performing, and that that starts at the helm. With Michael Piloz, Stephen Wich, Klaus, the team owner. It starts at the top, and it's just consistency
Yeah,
uh, that goes into having that tradition and having that consistency. Is treating people right.
yeah,
It having kind of the same core around. It's there's a lot. Is coaching. There's a lot that really goes in. There's a lot of thought. Weight training. There's a lot of thought that goes into having sustaining. I'm sorry, sustaining that type of tradition and again consistency. So hats off to the people that started the program
mm,
to be a part of it and continue to contribute in pushing the program to higher heights. I think everybody that's been here and everyone that's coming in now kind of understands that. And again, it starts with the tradition.
yeah. So Bakken wasn't your first, you've been to some other places. What stands out, and maybe you touch on a couple of points. What stands out between this club and maybe some of the other ones that you've been through?
Yeah, and shouts to you because I know you were here in Bakken, so you were one of the founders of the program as well.
Founders, yeah, kind of.
Uh, and can you ask that question again?
Like, what separates Bakken from some of the other clubs that you've been to? Maybe you touched on some of the, tradition and like what separates them from other clubs that you've been to?
Talked about this before. What really separates them is the consistency of treating players the right way.
Nice, nice.
You know, that's hard to do. We continuously beat higher budget teams than us year in, year out because of the way that, you know, the players are treated.
Yeah,
Um, where, you know, as good as the coaches are, they're able to let their hand off the steering wheel and allow the players to do what they do best,
mm,
figure it out on the court. So, you know, you have your traditional kind of hands-on, uh, really X's and O's type coach, and then you have your more players coach, which is,
yeah.
you know, maybe Phil Jackson type guy.
Hmm.
And my traditional coach, someone like Bo Ryan, the guy who coached me at Wisconsin.
Hmm.
Um, but the nice thing about having a players coach is, you know, the players are allowed to execute and adapt on the floor in real time, if that
Oh,
makes
that's,
sense.
I
All the
get
time.
it.
When you have a players coach, you know, it gives the players the freedom to adapt. And sometimes you got to jump the screen, you know, when the point guard's hot.
Mm,
Some have to play off. You know, being able to call, you know, which play, who's hot,
mm,
uh, you know, giving that freedom is very powerful for players and also as a program. It makes it fun. It makes it very fun to play here. And I think Coach Stephen Witch is a genius when it comes to that,
mm.
uh, managing players' mental states more than trying to control.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah.
that speaks volume. Then, you know, little stuff, getting paid on time.
Yep.
Uh, So all of that stuff, the consistency and the respect for the players, that means a lot. It allows players to play at their highest level instead of them being held back in some type of ways or feeling as though they're being held back. So that's, you know, to me, that's the biggest difference.
Mm,
And you know, again, shouts to the Michael Piloz, Coach Stephen Witch, who kind of embodied that within the program. And Coach Anders is doing a great job, you know, feeding into that, replicating that, and learning, which we're all doing. We're all learning, but you know, being open to learning is so important when it comes to coaching. You know, instead of just it's my way or the highway. Um,
nice, nice.
listen to, you know, the players and what they're feeling is so important, and it's a huge quality in coaching. And you know, him being able to adapt has been, you know, very good. You know, the way he's adapted in the last year, and I could see that it's moving the right way again.
Nice.
So
Yeah, because you know, I'm pretty sure you have people who are playing overseas, and you hear all the horror stories about players not being paid on time, not being treated fairly by the coach, and just different, you know, just bad situations overall in Europe. So once you can get to a stable environment where you have a lot of freedom and it's better quality of life as a professional, that's what you can boil it down to. But yeah, once you can get to that state where you can just play, I think mentally that kind of frees you up from the worry and from the nonsense to know that you can just go out, hoop, practice, work on your body, work on your skill set, enjoy the experience rather than dealing with the nonsense. So I definitely get it.
yeah, yeah, it's important. And then, you know, there's always a hierarchy on any team, and you know, kind of putting the right cinder blocks, whether it's players and then understanding from a management position, you know, who is really serious about winning, who has class, you know, who's on time, who's a mentor, a role model,
Uh,
and and that's, you know, also provides to the stability. You know, because younger guys, you know, there's guys that come in to get stacks and move on. Um,
yep.
uh, you know, but then, you know, the older guys that the people who've been around, you know, they have the more winning mindset and mentality, and they're able to bring all of that in
Mm,
and let the younger guys understand, like, you know, listen, we want you to get your numbers, we want you to do well, and you know, but this is how you're going to achieve that. And this is how you're going to advance your career.
Mm.
It's great to see guys like QJ Peterson, Deshaun Stephens, Devon Akun Purcell, guys getting chances at the NBA, guys making big money
Mm-hmm.
on basketball, be products of Bakken.
Yeah.
It's great to see. And having guys that have been around for a while that understand that, that model of how to win is always very important.
Yeah, I definitely and it goes back to my early days there. They kind of set a blueprint on how they want to do things. And speaking of like having older players there, more seasoned players there who are good in the locker room, who can pass down the history, pass down the tradition, pass down the leadership, right? Because that's one of Bakken's biggest calling cards is the level of leadership that they display there across all areas of basketball and with the community and all that stuff like that. So that's definitely been a calling card to pass down. But it's good for especially the younger players because a lot of players they don't have that kind of experience. They don't know tradition. They don't know dynasty. They don't know leadership. So when they come in that situation, they get a lesson in real time, a proven system. So they're not just passing these things down and they're losing every day. They have the season, the championships to back it up. So that's really cool. It's really cool.
And that's part of, again, it starts at the top and understanding, how to maintain that type of tradition and consistency. And then, to the players and everybody else, having the power, the ability to feel as though your hands are also on the wheel. And, even there's been times and seasons where it's like we have a couple game skids or, games maybe we shouldn't have lost.
Mm.
And you feel responsible as a player to, I have to maintain this
Mm.
tradition.
Mm.
And it's not, when you have a X's and O's coach that wants his hand fully on the wheel, the players have the tendency to, okay, coach says he knows what he's doing. So if we lose, it's not my fault.
Mm.
Where in a program like this, it's the players who, also want to, the coaches clearly want to step up, but the players, you feel the need to really move and really push the ball forward because you feel as though you have a piece of the ownership.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, it's a great setup. It's something I always look forward to getting back to after the summer is over. Because I'm just naturally a competitive person.
Nice.
That drives me. Every practice I'm kind of the same person because I just like to win.
Nice.
Um, yeah,
So tell me, you've been there for a few years. Tell me the quality of players they surrounded you with, because obviously that's changed quite a bit since you first got there until now, right? There's a higher level of talent, better. I say the quality is definitely better. I don't know about them individually, how the people they are, but I would figure they are of good character people, knowing Steph and knowing Piloz. So how has that been with the transition of players every year?
it's been good, and a lot of that is it speaks to the core, the core of the locker room too.
Nice.
Um, it's an environment thing.
Mm.
Uh, so someone might be a little bit more edgy, or someone might have more of a chip on their shoulder. When they come into an environment where you have 4 or 5, 6 guys coming back on the team,
Mm.
you have tradition. You could pull that edginess to, okay, it's not just going to be about stats. It's going to be about winning because ultimately that's what's going to get you paid. And when it comes to getting your numbers, like we understand that, and guys that's been like, we'll get you when you're hot, you're gonna get the ball.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, there's been an array of players that have came through. Some more edgy, some, very humble, some more quiet and focused.
Mm,
It's been a players is having center council in tradition with the team and the players that have been here keeps everybody keeps that medium,
nice.
allows those guys that are ultra talented to thrive.
Mm,
So yeah, and it's fun. It's fun to watch. It's fun for me. It's fun to see. Financially, I'm been in a solid situation because I'm pretty conservative. So it's
mm,
for me, it's really enjoying being a part and immersing myself in a culture and a program that you feel a part of and you want to really help forward because you see the community getting behind it more and more every year.
nice.
Um, to be more of a mentor within the community and help out. So all of that, it just starts from again the top, and as you feel passionate about it. Uh, and yeah, there's a lot of different personalities that come through,
Mm,
uh, but it's that center of peace that kind of keeps everybody on the up and up, and keeps everybody back to everything comes back to winning,
mm,
um, going apart and having statistics because we have a lot of the guys coming back. We have the same staff in the same office. So that the understanding is the tradition and the winning.
yeah. I think we touched on this a couple times last year, and I loved your take on it. And we talk about mentorship and leadership. Give me some of the ways in which you're trying to instill those things on some of the young players that come through Bakken. I know you took that position on, and you talked about how that's a good moment for you. But how have you been trying to impact them, the younger players coming through that program?
Yeah, just on so many levels, man. It's not just basketball. Basketball is the game, but there's so many ways to add value to a program, and I do my best to do that. Whether it's in the community, I try to train kids when I get a chance, for free.
Mm,
Try to help kids get out of the house
mm,
and because we have in this new social networking thing where depression is kind of running rampant, and it's a lot of it's because kids are on social media, not getting out of the house, they're not having that face to
mm,
um, so just talking to just the new guys when they come in, hey, don't be afraid to get out the house, meet some new people.
yeah.
Community like is healthy to get out to give is what really keeps, I think, people moving forward. So when you have this extra time,
Mm,
keep and then from a financial standpoint, I try to put them on financial literature. There's so many players that play 15 years and then 2 years after they retire, they don't have anything to show for.
yeah.
So, so that's so important to me, to guys, hey, save first, invest, start an IRA,
Mm,
look at buying a condo in a very, prominent area in your city that's
nice.
gonna, because you're gone for 9, 10 months a year, so you can rent your condo and get the mortgage paid for.
Yeah.
You know, simple things where, a lot of guys don't see or they surpass because their mind's on just basketball.
Mm,
There's ways to play the game and also build a life worth living afterwards. So just trying to communicate these things and it's really just healthy, and what family means, what friendship means.
mm.
And for some people it's just it's they're never going to get through to them, but I think
You're absolutely right.
I, I really take in and I have an impact on their life in that way because a lot of people, especially from the Black community, don't have that financial literacy,
Mm.
And, there's certain, not just in our community, but in a lot of communities, insecurities. If you haven't had anything,
Mm.
hasn't had anything to, you have this tendency to go out and spend when you don't need to do that. It's
Mm.
an show off. Because, ultimately that money, when you spend it, that's your hard-earned money, is gone.
Yeah. Nice.
So,
Yeah, I think the average player, they don't really think about life after basketball. Um, like, and I talked to some plenty of players. They just focus on, and it's so tough because they just try to focus on, maybe their numbers, maybe their situation, or the next situation. But I think when you get in some of those situations, you got to think a couple years ahead and figure out how to sustain your career as opposed to just worrying about your numbers and such.
yeah, most definitely. And that's ultimately going to allow you to play better when you have that comfort zone that is not just about the next check, like
Mm.
not focus on winning,
Mm.
um, instead of just what, stats for the next check, because you have a nice cushion. So, early on it's tough, but I just tried to do my best to communicate, give books, answer questions to the best of my ability. How
Nice.
I'm not a rich person, but I built a nice cushion
Mm.
to, I'm comfortable in this. It's not just money on your mind all the time. You could focus on family, on friends, on basketball. The different, have a healthy mind, and the community. So yeah, just trying to push some of those topics that are so important for our mental health,
Yeah.
uh, overlooked, not just in basketball but in business. I have a lot of friends in business. We talk about these things because a lot of of work is synonymous.
Yeah.
You know? So yeah, just having those messages and trying to have and maintain a healthy mindset throughout a season, because we are overseas, a lot of us. So, trying to make a home and have healthy relationships is extremely important,
Yeah.
when winning programs.
Are you happy where you are in your career right now?
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
That's nice. That's good to hear. That's good to hear.
And I think, I'm not content, but I'm happy.
Mm.
Uh, I'm always trying to push the ball forward, but I'm glad to be pushing it forward with a program and a culture that respects me and that I respect. Uh, so yeah, I'm never a content person, but I am, yeah, in a good place, and I have been in a happy place. Because we are inching forward and seeing things go in the right direction, and having to impact not just what I do on the court, but the community. Um, it's a good feeling, and I'm trying to do more and more of it.
Nice. Um, I think we touched on this a little last time I talked. What do you bring into your game this year that you didn't have last year? Maybe on the offensive end, defensive end. Is there something you adding this year?
Yeah, mainly my IQ. That's something that continues to develop.
Nice.
Um,
I like that. I like that one.
and then just having, the relax. I shot the highest percentages I've shot in my career this past year. Um,
Nice.
build on that, um, and play in a way where, just understanding who is, am I the first option? Am I the second option? Am I the third option? At this, not just in this, in this year, but in this point in the game,
Mm.
who hot hand? What play should we run next? What defensive scheme? How can I help the team and use my IQ to advance, the program? So yeah, just trying to become a little bit more efficient. Trying to become a little bit better of a teammate is the main thing I'm trying to advance. And, obviously that comes with, trying to get your percentage a little higher, trying to
Mm,
assist more,
mm,
maybe, if it's a team full of scorers, maybe it's, well, can I rebound the ball more? So
mm.
just more efficient player and helping the program move forward.
Nice. I love that idea about the percentage. Most of my career in Europe, especially there, because I was so comfortable with Steph's plays, and that was a big emphasis of mine, taking better quality shots and making sure I knew my plays where I know that I've been practicing those shots, so I was comfortable taking them and making them. So the fact that you can say that, that's a big deal because we want to be efficient across everything we do while we're playing. So it's cool to hear from you.
Yeah.
Man. But what about, I think you said something about a floater. You adding that as well?
Yeah, yeah.
I like that, man. That's because that's a good addition, bro. It's a good addition.
Addition, I think, to my game where, yeah, I can walk away and say I had a complete game because I got a great mid range. Now I had a good three ball last year. Um, you know, I could get to the rim, pass. If I could get the floater,
Uh,
that's what could, I think, set me over the top.
yeah, you'll need that floater, and you know that, you know this for sure. I don't have to tell you this, but you need that floater in Europe, definitely.
Yeah, yeah, especially yeah, you're going against the 7 footers and whatnot.
Yeah. Yeah,
I,
I love your mid range, man. I watch you some clips and one of the games. Like I love your mid range, man. Like you so efficient from that mid range is pretty cool to see, man. Really, really, really like it.
it's a lost art in a lot of ways.
Man, listen, you don't. Yeah, it is a lost art. You don't see that in college much. Definitely not in NBA. I think you see it a big deal out in Europe. Like when I watch some of the EuroLeague games, they got a lot of seasoned pros in those different countries and those teams. They have a lot of specialists from mid range. So that's cool.
Yeah, that's true. Because in Europe, people don't want to hear this sometimes, but the defense is better. So a lot of ball could get taken away, getting to the rim gets taken away. You don't have the 3 second rule in Europe. So the mid range is kind of the sweet spot where you almost have to score if you're going to be a consistent, good offensive player.
Yeah, bro, that's a great assessment. I knew that. Europe has been a better defending country. Like way they surpass the NBA every year because they just have coaches with defensive mindsets, and they always have in a lot of those top teams they always have willing defenders, not at the starting five, across the board, which is cool to see. Like if you watch a EuroLeague game, they D up from start until when the bell rings.
For that, I mean, in a sense, the NBA does have a 80+ game season,
Yeah.
whereas have that. So every game matters a little bit more. And then you have the defensive 3 second rule, which also, takes away from the defense. But yeah, then yeah, the mindset is completely different because every game matters. But now, if you compare the defense in the NBA Finals compared to then you have a conversation. But throughout the seasons in the NBA isn't that high level of a defense.
Yeah. Cool. All right, man. I think that was about it. Covered a good deal of stuff, man. I appreciate your time. I love your game. I'm watching you guys. I'm pulling for you guys every year, every game, and you're doing a great job in your role. Keep it up. Best of luck. Stay healthy. Stay doing what you're doing, and I'll be in touch.
Yeah. Thanks, E.
Cool.
Yeah, great.
I appreciate your time, brother. You take care. Peace.